Greetings, fellow humans. Bad Mark here with another transmission from Metre Keyboards, and today we're taking a look at a keyboard I've been wanting to take a look at since I heard about it. I've had a lot of fun with their switches. I honestly have not come across one of their switches that I did not like. But this is the first keyboard that I've seen from them, and everyone is raving about it. And some of the sound tests I've heard online make this keyboard sound really good. What am I talking about? The Leobog Hi75. Now, this keyboard was sent out to me by whateat.com in exchange for my honest review, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, because this is a barebone kit, they did ask me to choose some switches and some keycaps, so I went ahead. I've been having a lot of luck with the MMD switches lately, so I picked these MMD Matcha Ice Cream switches. They're a linear switch, and they sound and feel very nice. They also asked me to pick out a keycap set, so I picked out this PBT Rome color keycap set from them as well. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what we got before we start building this keyboard. All right, so greeting us when we open the box is a nice user card. I'm very fond of these. I think Keychron, they may not have started it, but they definitely made it almost an industry standard. So this is in Chinese. I do believe this is a Chinese version, though. Congratulations on becoming an honorable Leobog Hi75 user. Well, thank you, Leobog. I appreciate that. All right, so we're looking at a 75% with a knob. We don't have the F13 key, but we have a 4-key column over here. And it's one of those layouts that a lot of us will be familiar with. Now, they keep making 75% with knobs because people keep buying them and they like them. There's a reason for it. All right, so let's see what we have in the box. All right, in the box, it looks like we have, they give us the choice whether we want to add their logos and even the legends for the key light indicators. I've got to say, that's pretty cool. I like that. It gives everyone the choice. We have a user manual, which we'll take a look at in more detail. And we have the accessory box. I gotta say, I like that little astronaut guy. Oh, and in the box, we have a very nice nylon braided USB-A to USB-C cable in a gray color, but it's quite thick and quite strong. I like that. And, well, I guess that's about it. Since it is a bare bone, I guess I could see why they don't include any switcher keycap holders. So let's go ahead and set this aside. Here we are. The lovely, I gotta say, this is a nice looking 75%. It is aluminum. I do believe it's CNC. Yeah, it feels like it's a CNC aluminum, not pressed or not molded. And it's got a very interesting knob. Let's see. Now, again, I'm seeing this more and more often, and I'm very happy that I'm seeing this QA/QC sticker. So this was inspected by a human being this year, and it passed quality control. Akko is the first company I can recall in the keyboard market that has done this. Being that I've bought technology products since the 90s, companies started doing it, and it made a big difference because a lot less defects were going out to customers. That makes a big difference to when it comes to, people reporting problems or recommending it to friends. Now, it does look like we have that nice little astronaut. It's a badge there. It does not appear to come out. I think it's just part of the keyboard, and it looks like we have some Leobog grays perhaps holding everything in place here. Yep, this is a Leobog gray. It's a very nice linear switch. I'm quite fond of these. I've got quite a few. All right, so looking at the keyboard, we see that we have a 75% south-facing keyboard. We have, pulled that aside. We do have foam between the plate and the PCB. Feels like an EVA foam. And there seems to be something below there as well. I can't tell if that's an open. It looks more like a closed cell foam. And we do have what's probably IPXC sheet sitting above the PCB. We have a flex PC plate, and it does seem that we have a good amount of flex. This plate is quite flexy, as you can see the flex cuts in there. I gotta say, I love the knurled texture on it, and kind of hoping there's a light under there. Looking at it below, we have some padding for feet, and we have what looks like Saturn. I gotta say, I love the little astronaut guy, and I love the space theme of it. A little nitpicky, but their sticker is at an angle, but that's just being a little nitpicky. It's only off by a couple of millimeters. In the back, we see that we have a USB-C port, and it's not recessed at all. And we should be good within a USB cable, unless they have a really fat bezel on it. It's going to fit in there. So I'm guessing they've used these switches just to keep everything in place, because it's probably the switches that are keeping the plate attached. But let's take a look real quick at these stabilizers and see what we've got. And we do have film or some sort of padding below, though it does not appear that we have any holes for PCB mounted stabilizers. But the stabilizers are the newer kind. They do not have the feet, and they are lightly lubricated, not overly lubricated. And we put them back in place. Clip the locks. They are quite well attached to the plate. There's a tiny amount of wiggle, but not much that I think would make too much of a difference. This metal badge is a little loose. I'm wondering if it has a screw underneath, which when I come back to it, I'll take a look. If there's replaceable badges, that'd be pretty cool for an in-stock keyboard. So we're going to go ahead and build this out and see what we've got. But before that, let's take a look at this RGB. I'm curious if there's a light underneath the knob. It does seem to light, or it does appear like there's light. I don't know if it's reflecting, but oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so it's for light effect right now, is it? All right, so brightness and effects. All right, that makes sense. We see how everything works. Let's go ahead and take out these placeholder switches here. And let's take a look at these MMD creams. So our switches are just getting better and cheaper every day. These MMDs, I want to say it's like $17 for a packet. No, it's cheaper. It's like $15 for a pack of 35, I think. I'm pretty sure they're cheaper than Akko switches even. Not sure who the manufacturer is, but I gotta say, I like them. Zero ping. They're smooth. There's no scratchiness to them whatsoever. There's a little bit of north-south wobble, but practically no east-west travel or wobble. All right, so the specs on these. This is the MMD V3 Ice Cream Matcha. It is a linear switch with a 45-gram trigger and a 53-gram touch base with a total travel of 3.9. So you got just a slight bit of a long pull there. And they are pre-lubricated with DuPont 105 and 205. So probably why they sound so smooth out of the box. But yeah, just taking a look at these, a pack of 90. And so they roughly run about, I want to say 30 cents a switch. Roughly under 30 cents a switch. So let's go ahead and open these up. All right, so let's go ahead and load up these switches. I've only loaded up the switches, but I can already tell this is going to sound pretty good stock. I mean, the PC plate, the flexiness of it, I had to actually lift up a couple of times to make sure that the front clips were catching on, but it's very flexy. This is probably one of the flexier aluminum kits I've come across. And I gotta say, I don't know exactly what it is about it. I think it might just be a combination of all the things, but I really just like the look and the feel of this keyboard. I really wish it had that extra F13, which I use it to delete, but that's fine right there. It's not that big of a deal. It's just me being nitpicky. So today we're going to go ahead and load them up with the Roam keycap set. All of these, again, were sent over to me by WhatGeek, and I will provide a link to all of these in the description below. So this is a cherry profile. I do have Roam and an SA profile, but I never gotten around to getting Roam and a cherry profile. All right, on the side of the box, it does tell me that these are PBT, and this is a 173 key set. Looks like this is a very well kitted out set, as it has even the split bars down below and a couple of novelties. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Load up this lovely keyboard with this keycap set. I'm ready to get to the sound test. And here we are with the Leobog Hi75 build. And I have to be honest, this is probably one of the best out of the box 75% aluminum kits I've had a chance to review, period. Don't get me wrong, I like aluminum, but most aluminum 2-part cases require some sort of force break, because without it, you're going to get ping. But this keyboard, that's one of my almost preferred sound profiles, is that crunchy, thocky type. And I could definitely make it more creamy with some modifications. But for being an out-of-the-box, around $80 aluminum barebone kit that sounds this good, I mean, it's... the in-stock game is just getting better every single day. It really, truly is. I mean, because... Alright. Don't get me wrong. I love this keyboard. This is the MKC75. I'm coming back to do a video to replace this with a knob. Now this one, the way that this one's built, I think it would be about $120 plus $25 for shipping and handling. So say $150, but it's bare bone. Now it sounds nice, don't get me wrong. But there's that ting of ping in there. I'm blown away. Now, granted, this one does have many mounting options and many different things you can do. You can add a knob, you can take off a knob, you can put a badge there, you can do a top mount, you can do a plate mount, you can do plateless. So I'm not saying that this one's better, but I am saying that out of the box, you load up some keycaps, you load up some switches, and you're gonna be good to go. And while it's nice and solid, it's not extremely heavy. I know some people are like, this keyboard's too heavy. This one is just right. I think out of the box, it's 1.3 grams, 1.3 kilograms, I believe. But I'll weigh it out here in a bit for the technical section. But this is just It sounds lovely. All right, let's see how the lights look with this on. And because we have that PC plate, we can see the light shining through nicely. This is a nice keyboard. This keycap set is ACG or AGCM. I don't know. For the most part, I like it. It's double shot PBT, although some of the legends are just a little, I mean, like look at code. That D and that E, they just, they don't look like they're the same size or even the same font almost. I'll have to check in the settings if we have a cap lock indicator light, because this isn't even indicating. But I don't know if we have to turn that on or off. Everybody kept saying, "Oh man, when are you going to do the Leobog Hi75? When are you going to do the Leobog?" And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I like their switches, but I've got other ones to take a look at. But now I'm kind of wishing I would have said yeah and done it right away, because I've got to say, this is a really nice keyboard. All right, so it has various modes. It has an iOS mode, an Android mode. All right, so one thing I just wanted to note real quick. The PC plate is quite soft, so when inserting switches, you got to be careful. As I went through to test them, and I had about 8 or 10 switches that had the softer pin. If you guys don't know, most switches have a soft pin and a hard pin. Usually the one on the right is going to be a little bit softer, and that was bending. It looked like it was because the IPXE sheet just kind of, it only has the tiniest hole, so if you catch it on that, it just bends. Thankfully, none of the sockets were damaged. I was able to go through, straighten out the legs, and pop them back in. I've got to say, I am taken aback by this. This is really nice. Again, my Windows workstation is currently down, so I can't test the software, but from reading up on it, it does have function layers, or it has one function layer, so you can do the function key combination and program that. It also has tap functionality, so I'm looking forward to taking a look at that. I will be coming back to this keyboard in very short order, because right now it sounds a little crunchy, creamy, but I want to go straight for creamy and see how well I can make this sound, because it's lovely. I've got to say, this keyboard is probably the best value right now. Or if you're not looking for wireless, mind you, because it's not wireless. I hardly use wireless, and to be quite honest with you, when I need wireless, I just go with my trusty Red Dragon, because as I've said in previous videos, Red Dragon boards, Red Dragon started as a gaming company, so they make their keyboards gamer proof. And gamers usually tend to be, I mean, I was never much of a gamer, but I remember plenty of times smashing down on my keyboard and then wondering why it stopped working. Because I broke it. I literally broke the PCB inside of the membrane keyboard one time just from one. But, keyboards aren't meant to do that. But for the price that this keyboard is, it's got to be one of the best values and sounds the best out of the box. Yes, it doesn't have QMK vibe, but from what I'm seeing from the software, the screenshots, and the features, it looks to be very almost on par as far as features. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get some of the more, high-end QMK stuff that you can do in there, but I've got to believe the MCU has the capabilities for QMK, but who knows if they'll ever release that. Other than that, this keyboard is just awesome. I mean, we're taking a look at, we're using these MMD V3 Ice Cream Matcha switches, which are also from What Geek. And just to pull this up real quick, they're a really nice switch. They're actually currently sold out. I think these are quite popular. But, I mean, this switch, it is pre-lubricated. It is a linear. I'm usually team tactile, but it just has a nice soft press, and despite being a long pull, it doesn't have that really loud and intrusive bottom out. It's a very soft and muted, so it has a very nice sound profile. Now, it did come with a couple of Leobog gray wood, or gray wood, I forgot what these are. I've got a whole pack of these. Probably when I'll come back, I'll try those out. The keycap set is from AC GAM. This is the first time I've ever seen this keycap set. Most of these are good, though I've got to say some of the legends are just a little funky, though they are double shot and they sound just fine. But this is probably the best 75% value out there right now, especially if you're just looking for a wired keyboard. Drop in some switches, drop in some caps, and it's going to sound good. But like I said, I'm going to be coming back to this because I think I can get a very creamy sound profile out of it. Just the specs. Today, we took a look at the Leobog Hi75. It is a wired 81 key, 75% with a knob. It comes well dampened as well as preloaded with a flex cut PC plate. It is available in black, white, blue, and purple colors, and they also have a no RGB variant. The weight of this keyboard barebone is 1,230 grams, and loaded with switches and keycaps comes in at around 1,475 grams. The chin of this keyboard sits at 21 millimeters above the typing surface, while the back sits at 36 millimeters, providing for a default typing angle of 9 degrees. This keyboard MSRPs for $82.99 from whatgeek.com, and also is available with a no LED for $69.99. The switches that we loaded up on this keyboard today are the MMD Matcha Ice Cream. They are a linear switch made out of palm with an actuation force of 45 grams and a total travel of 3.9 millimeters plus or minus 0.3 millimeters. And it does come pre-lubed from the factory. Now, I must be honest, I enjoy keyboards, all shapes and sizes. But there are some keyboards that are just like, because I've gotten to test so many of them by now that there's just little things that, I'm like, But this one, I've got to say, it's top of the line. They've taken so many things that people are looking for in a custom keyboard, and they've put it all into one. The fact that it doesn't need a force break off the bat. I mean, I'm going to assume that they have a force break in there, but I'm going to open it up myself next time I come back to it and figure out what's going on. I want to see if that badge is replaceable. Maybe I can even 3D print me something to put in there. But this keyboard, especially for the price, $70 if you don't want RGB, and $82 if you do, for an aluminum alloy. I do believe it's anodized, but I mean, this is a great value. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Then on top of that, how well it sounds stock without having to do anything to it. I mean, we're using MMD switches, which have always been considered more budget, but switches are getting better nowadays and they're staying relatively cheap. I know I have MMD Princess tactile and linear switches. I love those, and I paid like 23 cents a piece for them. So there's just some really good things happening in the keyboard world. We went from, this keyboard would have been easily in the $300 range a year and a half ago, and it would have been a group buy that would have had to wait however long they wanted you to wait, and the colors would have been off when you got it, or something would have been an issue. You don't have that here. We have a in-stock keyboard that delivers a great experience right out of the box. And it comes from What Geek. I've had nothing but positive interactions with them. They have great service. They're very responsive, and they're always looking to help. They just want people to be happy. So I've got to say, I'm completely impressed, and I am going to use this as my daily driver. I love how it sounds. I love how it feels. I want to play around with it, and once I get the last part to my Windows PC and get it back up and running, I'm gonna play with the software. I may just do a video just with the software because it sounds like it's fairly complete. But I've got to say, I like this keyboard. I hardly ever will say, hey, this is something you should buy, and I'm not gonna say that you should buy it. But if you're looking for something in this range, this is definitely something that I would add to the list to consider. So I thoroughly enjoyed building out this keyboard today, and I'm positive I'm going to enjoy the sound test. I think you guys will too. But if there's anything that you guys want me to take a look at or do as far as modifications when I do come back to this keyboard, please let me know in the comments section below. Let's get a conversation started. I'm going to leave you guys with a stock sound test. Yes, stock. I mean, I'm just putting the switches and the keycaps. I'm not done anything else. The way it sounds, it doesn't sound like it's a stock keyboard out of the box. But I'm going to leave you guys with that stock sound test. I hope that you guys enjoyed the review and enjoy the sound test. Until the next transmission, keep calm and keyboard on.